So during this industrial revolution, there were so many factories. Okay? So many factories were built, and as a result of this, what happened was that the country was polluted. The water polluted, and the air polluted, and the land was polluted. So with this industrial revolution, what happened was there was pollution everywhere. And then during this industrial revolution, there were so many factories. So many factories were built, and then what happened was that the farmers who lived in agricultural areas, there were farmers who lived in agricultural areas in England, and these farmers, they moved to the city. And then here we have, imagine that this is a village, and here we have the city of London. And in London, there are so many factories. So people from these villages, they have migrated to the cities. There are lesser people in villages and more people in London, more people in metropolitan areas. Because of this, London became overpopulated. The city was overpopulated. Population overpopulated. And when the city becomes overpopulated, now if there are 100 job opportunities, let's see, there are 100 job opportunities in London. We have 100 jobs, and then in order to do these 100 jobs, there are 1,000 people. Lesser jobs, more people. What happens to the wage? What happens to the salary? Salary down. Anyway, there are so many people. They imagine that I have a garden and I need a gardener. I need a gardener. And then when I search for gardeners, my goodness, there are so many. The monkey, I am going to give 100 rupees for a gardener. It's a good one. There are 50. I'm going to give only 90 rupees. So I can go down and down. So when you have lesser jobs and more people to do those jobs, what happens? The salary becomes lower. Basic economy. Right. And then because of that reason, and because of the overpopulation, what happened was that there was labor discrimination. Labor discrimination. What we mean by labor discrimination is, labor discrimination. People are not paid well for the job that they do. That is labor discrimination. People are not paid well. That is labor discrimination. And because of the overpopulation, there was labor discrimination. And because of labor discrimination, so many people suffered from poverty. Poverty can do further. Then labor discrimination means you are not paid well. You are not paid well, and because of that, you are suffering from poverty. So this is like a flow. Overpopulation, it causes labor discrimination. Labor discrimination causes poverty. Right? And then, because of this poverty, what happened was that, now imagine that I am the only breadwinner of the family. I am the only breadwinner. And then I earn only 500 rupees per a day. I earn only 500 rupees. But I have my wife, I have my children to feed. I my wife if this 500 rupees is not enough, okay, 500 rupees under the Pramanavat Natam, if it is not enough, then the wife also has to go to the job. The wife and if it is still not enough, children also have to go to job. That is the pathetic incident. That is the tragic incident here. Tragic incident. The thing that we study in this poem, that is about child labor. And because of poverty, you can see that parents, they sometimes send their children to work, and the most tragic incident is that sometimes these parents sell their children. And they sell their children because they cannot afford to maintain the children. They maintain means they are selling the children. So that is kind of the most tragic incident. If your parents told you to gymnastic or something, neither you will not get love from your parents. You will not get a proper education. You will not be properly treated. That when you are at home, princess like this, usually කණ්ඩක් ළඟට ගෙනත් දෙනවා. මේ බොණ්ඩක් ළඟට ගෙනත් දෙනවා. පුතේ මොනවාද මේ රෙදි ටිකක් ඔක්කොම හදලා දෙනවා. Everything is done by your parents. But for these children, they don't have any of those things. එතකොට because of poverty, then comes child labor. So this is the topic that we are talking about. Another child labor. This is the theme that you have in this poem. So, in order to discuss about these things, you have to know about all these things. At the end, you have to know everything. That is why I have given you the background. And the main flow is then there is another thing that we must talk about. That is, so the major theme is child labor, exploitation. Now we have discussed about child labor. Now we have to talk about child labor exploitation. Exploitation, discrimination, exploitation, both have the same meaning. Exploitation means for the job or for the work which is done by these child laborers, people are not paying well. And because they are small children, they are given a very small amount of a wage and salary. And that is what we mean by exploitation. So these people, these child laborers, they have no love, no education, no proper treatment, and then no basic rights, and they have no healthy living conditions. Now, when we think of you at your home, you have a healthy living condition. You have proper dresses. But for these child laborers, they don't have such a thing. They are unable to wash themselves. And they sleep in suits. That means they don't have any healthy living conditions. So no love, no education, no proper treatment, no basic rights, no healthy, no proper treatment means for the when you are at home with your parents, you are treated well. When we think of the way that your parents call you, these people are not given that kind of a treatment. That's good. When you don't understand things, you can ask me. You should ask me. Right. And then Nimna, any issues so far?
No, teacher.
No. You understood everything, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So you have some space in your book. Yeah. You have, yeah. So we have to point out these things. Hope you have different colors, right? So if this is your poem, you can write the background on top. The things that we are discussing now. First of all, we will write down the time period of 1757 to 1827. 1757 to 1827. That is the time period of William Blake. Right, and then we are talking about 18th and 19th centuries. That was Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution, and people from rural areas moved to the city. Metropolitan areas. People from rural areas moved to the metropolitan areas, right? Right, and because of this, there was overpopulation. There was overpopulation. And this overpopulation led to poverty, labor discrimination and poverty. Discrimination and poverty. Right, so you have overpopulation, labor discrimination, and poverty. Right, and then because of the poor living conditions, what happened was that child labor was there. Child labor, right? Poor living conditions led to child labor. Because of the poverty of the parents, there was poor living conditions. It led people to give their or to ask their children to engage in labor. When I'm a father, I'm asking my son, you you also go and find some work. Because we don't have enough to eat. Under Pramana Prayatna, you also have to find some work. Yeah. That became child labor. Most of the people were employed as chimney sweepers. Right? Then, when we think of child labor, what are the chimney sweepers? They become chimney sweepers. And now we have to understand who these chimney sweepers are. How the chimney sweepers will get to know. When we think of factories and houses, imagine that this is a factory. In these factories, there are chimneys. Chimneys, and also in houses as well, there were such chimneys. And then there should be somebody to clean the chimney. There is suit. Suit suit is covered. These chimneys are covered with soot. And these chimneys are usually 7 by 7 squares. Squares. We can't climb down it because we are fat and we are big. Therefore, we can't climb down. This job can only be done by small children at the age of 3, 4, 5. Right? So, children who are at the age of 3, 4, and 5, they are sent down these chimneys and they are asked to clean them up, clean the soup up. We can understand how tragic, how pathetic, how sad their situation is. These people, they are really high chimneys. In the clip that I have made, you can see the picture. Here, this is a chimney sweeper. Here you have a chimney sweeper. Here, you can see that he has a brush. This brush is used to clean up the chimneys, and you can see that he has soot everywhere, and also here bare feet. Bare feet, and you know that England, it is a very cold country, and imagine what kind of a really sad situation which these people have to experience, which these children have to experience. Now, there are children who are at the age of 3, 4, 5, maximum 6. Maximum. Maximum age is 6. Because of that, people or children who are at this age has to go down and then they have to clean the chimneys. And what they do is that, imagine that I'm a small child, I'm going down, and while I'm going down, I'm cleaning chimneys and I'm putting the soot in a bag. So I have a brush and I have a bag. And then I'm cleaning it up. I'm cleaning it up and I'm putting the soot in my bag. And while doing so, so many children fall down. Now I'm going to the chimney from up here, and while I'm cleaning these things, sometimes I fall down. Like these chimneys are really tall, and these chimneys are really tall. It's like some chimneys, they are 30 feet tall. And imagine small children falling down 30 feet. them, they die instantly. ක්ෂණයෙන් මැරෙනවා. හරි? And some people they break their limbs. අතපය කැඩෙනවා. හරි? එහෙමත් දුන්නේ නැත්නම් if people are very lucky not to break their limbs, finally they come across lung cancer. ඇයි lung cancer හැදෙන්නේ? ඇයි මේ පෙනහළු cancer හැදෙන්නේ? Because they are working with the suit. Suit යනම නම් ඇතුලෙන් පෙනහළු නේ. This suit they come to the lungs and they are unable to breathe properly and eventually they die. So most of these chimney sweepers, they live only for a very short period of time. The chimney sweepers, right? So that kind of exploitation, that kind of pathetic life is described through the poem Chimney Sweeper. And then you should get a question. Look at the question here. There is a government. Why are they, or why have they closed their eyes? There should be a government. In England, there is a government. And what are these people doing? When these sorts of children are being killed, they did nothing. They did nothing. Child labor was not prohibited during this time. Prohibit කරලා නැහැ. තහනම් කරලා තිබ්බේ නැහැ. Now child labor is prohibited. Nowadays in the present day world, child labor is prohibited. But during this time, it was allowed by the government. හරිද? එතකොට you can see that the government, it supports child labor. It's okay. You can do whatever you like. So these factory owners, they are the wealthy people. If I own a factory, I'm a wealthy person. And the government supports them. Government does not think about these chimney sweepers. They only care about the wealthy. And also, there is religion. There is established church. Church. The priests who are in the church, they could advise, please don't engage children for labor. Preach advices but they also didn't do that. Hey, these people donated money for the church. Money donated. If the church asks the wealthy not to engage in child labor, donations these people stop donations. Church becomes poor. Because of that, they also don't do anything. And William Blake criticizes government as well as the established church. Religion නෙමෙයි criticize කරන්නේ church එක. Religion එකකින් කියලා නෑ government උගත්ත ගන්න කියලා. It is the church who is doing that. Church එක religion එක වෙනස්. Religion කියන්නේ the thing that God has told. Church කියන්නේ establishment එක. ඒක හරියට in our culture, Lord Buddha කියපු ධර්මය සහ පන්සල. පන්සලෙන් කරන්නේ ධර්මය පිටට යවන ස්ප්‍රෙඩ් කරන එක. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලන් කරන්නේ වෙනම දෙයක් නේද? Benz ගන්නවා, Rolls Royce ගන්නවා. ඕවන කරන්නේ. එතකොට that is not what is preached by Lord Buddha. නේ එතකොට අපි සමහර වෙලාවට criticize කරන්නේ Lord Buddhaගේ දර්ශනය නෙවෙයි පන්සල. අමුතු. මේ අපි criticize කරන්නේ. Just like that, William Blake criticized the church for not doing its duty. Church duty then if we have a religious institute, what is the duty of a religious institute? Duty එක මොකද්ද? ආගමික ස්ථානයක. What is the duty? අනුන්ට උදව් කරන්න කියන එක. නේ, and also they should spread peace. නේ, peace spread කරන්න ඕනේ. There should be some proper advices. හැබැයි this church does nothing of the sort. මේ කිසිම දෙයක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. හරි, this church does nothing at all. හරි, එතකොට because of that reason William Blake criticizes it. තේරුණාද කියන එක? තේරුණා ෂුවර් නේද? හරි. Then the next thing we have to point out is child labor. Mostly small children work as chimney sweepers. Mostly small children worked as chimney sweepers. They had to climb up tall chimneys. They had to climb up tall chimneys and clean them up. Some fall down and break their limbs. Some die instantly. And also, some suffer lung cancer. These things happen to the innocent chimney sweepers. When we think of the poem Sudha, this is considered as a social protest. What do you mean by a protest? Protest එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද? විරුද්ධව වැඩ කරන එකක් කියලා නේද? The poem becomes here the speaker, the poet is protesting, criticizing, විවේචනය කරනවා. මොකද? Child labor. And he is criticizing child labor as well as the government and the established church who sanction this. Sanction කරන permits කරනවා කියන එක. අවසර දෙනවා. Government and the church gives permission for the factory owners to continue this tradition. මේ tradition එක continue කරන්න they are giving another permission. And that idea is protested and criticized by the writer. That is social protest. The poem becomes a social protest. The poem is a social protest. Point it out. This is a very important one. Huh? The poem is a social protest. It's a social protest. The poet criticizes the government and the established church. The poet criticizes the government and the established church for sanctioning. Sanctioning means permitting. For permitting this discrimination. And injustice. And this is an injustice, and the government as well as the church allows it to happen. Make a vendor allow permit that now. Because of that, writer is so here we were talking about child labor, which happened in English society or in London. Right. Then and here this poem, the poem Chimney Sweeper, appears in William Blake's Songs of Innocence. William Blake had written two poetry collections. There are two poetry collections called Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. Right? Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. And then these two poetry collections are interconnected. Join here. In Songs of Innocence also you have a poem called Chimney Sweeper. And in Songs of Experience also you have a poem called Chimney Sweeper. Right? In Songs of Innocence also there is a poem, Chimney Sweeper. And in Songs of Experience also, not the same poem, different poem. Title and samana, idea and venas. Both poems talk about a chimney sweeper, and in both poems, in this poem also we have chimney sweepers, and in this poem also we have chimney sweepers happening. In the Songs of Innocence, this chimney sweeper cannot understand that I am discriminated. That is why it comes under Songs of Innocence. The chimney sweeper is very innocent. Because of that, he cannot understand that his labor is discriminated by the people. But in Songs of Experience, this chimney sweeper knows that my labor is exploited. He is very innocent. He is experienced. He knows that the people, all the people in London society, they are discriminating me. And in Songs of Innocence, there is a poem called The Lamb. Lamb can battle battle and lamb can battle battle innocence. And the related poem, the connected poem for this one is the tiger. The lamb, the tiger. And they are connected with each other. Right. So This poem comes under the poetry collection Songs of Innocence. Make a poetry collection. Poetry collection. And because of that, this chimney sweeper is not aware about his discrimination and exploitation. So this chimney sweeper has no idea about discrimination. So this is also pointed out. Songs of Innocence. So this chimney sweeper not aware. He is not aware about it. It will be the innocence factor. Now, when we think of literature, this is a really beautiful subject. Like actually, very last subject because we are talking about things that we can see, things that we can feel. That is why this subject is really beautiful. Right now, we will move on to the poem. We will move on to the poem. How many stanzas do you have? Literature study stanza means we get how many stanzas are there? Some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 stanzas. So the one part, one small part, we call it a stanza. Right? Stanza will come here. And then we will move on to first stanza. S-T-A-N-Z-A. Stanza. Stanza number 1. Let's see. When my mother died, I was very young. Anahuta, a chimney sweeper, is reciting about his life. There is a chimney sweeper and he is talking about his life. This little chimney sweeper is mentioning, when I was very young, my mother died. And my father sold me. Earlier also I have told you, when the parents cannot maintain their children, they sell them. They sell them for money. In order to get some money, they sell children who were born with their own flesh and blood. Labeling, muscling, the parents, they are selling. So this is a very tragic situation. The narrator, another speaker. How the speaker? Chimney sweeper. And he becomes the narrator. Or the speaker. In almost all the poems, we have a narrator. Or we have a speaker. And in this poem, the narrator is a small chimney sweeper. Narrator or speaker is this small chimney sweeper. Narrator, speaker. Speaker is a small chimney sweeper. And then he describes the about sad incidents he had to face. He is describing these are the sad things I have to face in my life. When the name tragic right. So he describes about sad incidents he had to face. He describes about sad incidents he had to face in his life. Unfortunate tasks. He is talking about the unfortunate past. The narrator is talking about the unfortunate past. Now, the speaker says that my father sold me. My father sold me. There, the poet wanted to criticize the money-minded attitudes of parents. Parents sell their children because they needed money. එතකොට ළමයාට වැඩිය සල්ලි තමයි නේද? නේ? There, the poet in the second line near the second line, my father sold me. The poet criticizes. The poet criticizes mercenary. Mercenary means money-minded. Callous. Callous means careless. Attitudes of parents. The poet criticizes mercenary and callous attitudes of parents. Mercenary and callous attitudes of parents are criticized by the poet. So these children, they cannot have love. If parents are only thinking about money, they are unable to give love. They will love them the bad. Poor children. And my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry. Scarcely means hardly. Hardly. Scarcely means hardly. Scarcely. Scarcely means hardly. Scarcely, hardly. Hardly cry. Here cry means shout. Hardly shout. Hardly cry. Weep. There we have two ideas. Now here we have weep. Right. Now in this section we have two ideas. Right? There are two ideas. one idea is that these are chimney sweepers. These are chimney sweepers, and while the other than just like that, these chimney sweepers, they also walked along the road crying, sweep, 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 sweep. And the sweep, but this child is very small that he cannot pronounce the word sweep. These children are so small that they cannot pronounce the word sweep. That is one meaning. And the other idea is produced by the writer, that is, weeping means crying. Weep means crying, and this is the condition, this is the feeling of the chimney sweeper. They are crying each and every day. One idea is they cannot pronounce the words. Second idea is they are feeling. They are always crying. Their mental condition. Their mental condition is this. When we have two ideas, when we have two ideas phrase we call it a pun. Pun. Pun means you have two ideas. Nuance. Nuance two ideas. Two ideas are taken together. Ekama phrase ekama vasanata meanings දෙකක් තියෙනවා නම් we call it a pun. Right. So, you Buddha, did you understand what a pun means? Let me. Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So if you need me to explain things again, you'll have to let me know. Okay. If you did not understand something,
Okay.
Nirakshi, you did. And Mitaz, even though I'm asking questions from you, you're not giving answers. At least chat. Huh? So mic is not working. I can see that. Okay. So we. The first idea is that the chimney sweepers walk along the road shouting, sweep, sweep. But this sweeper cannot pronounce it because he is small. And this chimney sweeper is very small. Because of that, he cannot pronounce this word. So this is one idea. This is what we mean by mispronunciation. Mispronunciation. That is the first idea. Mispronunciation. Now this is the reason why we need sticky notes. One use sticky notes on it, they write these things in a sticky note and paste it near the proper place. Then the command then react. So the first idea is mispronunciation. Then we make fun one second. Then we have to talk about the second idea. Second idea is the feeling. First idea is mispronunciation, and the second idea is the feeling. And these chimney sweepers had to undergo so many suffering. Suffering can Vedana Sahagata Devas and so many sufferings. There are feelings of sadness and crying is also depicted. Depicted means shown, and their feeling, their crying is also shown in this or depicted in this line. Weep, 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 weep. So mispronunciation and feeling. Those are the two ideas. Right. Then we will move on to stanza number 2. Before that, we are talking about the life of these chimney sweepers. We are talking about the life of the chimney sweepers. And when we talk about it, I have told you that do they receive love? Do they receive love? Ekalo love receive karanada, love hambenada, chimney sweepers. They don't get love. They don't get love. And also, when we think of small children who are at the age of 3, 4, 5, in your home or in your neighborhood, you have these sorts of children. In a neighborhood, you know that Nangila Malila in it. When you were small, when you were like 2, 3, 4 years old, did your parents ask you to do several things, household chores? They don't ask you to do that. Usually, they don't ask you to do that when you were small, during the nursery age, Montessori and what were the things that you have done? Playing. Usually, when children are small, they like to play. But here, these chimney sweepers, they have no time to play. And they have no time to play. Their lives are restricted. They can limited. And their lives are restricted. So that is also a very sad incident in their life. So therefore, near the whole paragraph, near that paragraph, we have to mention the life of these chimney sweepers the life of these chimney sweepers is restricted, limited, restricted and limited life. They do not receive love. And is not permitted to live a carefree life. Carefree, joyful life. They cannot live a carefree, joyful life. Usually small children, they spend a carefree life. But these chimney sweepers, they have nothing. They only have responsibility. They do not have any time to enjoy. Enjoy karana time na. They don't receive love and is not permitted to live a carefree, joyful life. Okay, then moving on to stanza number 2. There's little Tom Dog. Now, we had one chimney sweeper, but his name is not given. The speaker's name we don't know. And then he talks about another chimney sweeper. His name is Tom. Tom. And we'll see what happened to Tom. There's little Tom Dog who cried when his head that curled like a lamb's back was shaved. Now what happened? Usually, when these chimney sweepers, when these children become chimney sweepers, their head is shaved. Head is shaved. Right? Because when they climb down the chimneys, their head is bare. Yes. So here he is wearing a hat. Even though you can see some hair underneath, here usually they have a bald head and cutter. Because usually the suit spoils their hair. They don't have any facility to wash themselves up. Now here we have Tom Dog. Okay? Here we have the person Tom Dog, and he has got curly hair. And curly hair. No, we have straight hair. Tom Dog had got curly hair, and look at this one, Puta. Curled like lamb's back. Lamb, who is a lamb? Better look at him. Now the writer says that Tom Dog had got hair which is curled like the hair of a lamb's back. Lamb gave loma, curly loma this Tom Dog's hair. Right? And also this hair is white hair. You know that even though we have black hair, we are people who are living in tropical countries, hair, but when we think of the other countries, cold countries, people have got blonde hair. And then people have got red hair. Yeah, pink at the conda. At the conda, they have blonde hair, they have black hair, they have brown hair, they have white hair. Have you seen Harry Potter? Harry Potter film AK Harry Potter Malfoy. හැම වෙලේම Harry Potter එක එකව කරන්නේ. එයාගේ කොන් සුදු කොන් යන්නේ තියෙන්නේ. හරි? එතකොට that is natural hair. ඒව පාට කරපු වෙන්නේ natural hair. And Tom Dog also had got white curly hair, just like a lamb's back. Then today, here we have something called symbolism. Symbolism කියලා කියන්නේ සංකේත කියන එක අහලා තියෙනවා. සංකේත. That when we think of white pigeon is the symbol for peace. So the paradiya samaya sanketa කියලා කියන්නේ. හරි එතකොට that is what we call by symbolism. හරි symbol. And this lamb's back is also a symbol. Lamb is a symbol. Symbol for what? Innocence or cruelty. අහිංසකකමටද එහෙම නැත්නම් නපුරුකමටද? Lamb. Innocence. So lamb represents innocence. ඒක දෙන්නද? එතකොට Tom Dog, who has got hair like a lamb, he is also innocent. Then by mentioning lamb's back, the poet wants to tell that Tom is also innocent. Sure? Okay. So lamb symbol for innocence. Lamb is a symbol for innocence. Tom's innocent personality, Tom's innocence is shown here. Tom's innocence is shown here. These children, they are innocent people. Tom's innocence. By the symbol lamb, the writer points out innocence of Tom. Right. Then right, that pearl like a lamb's back was shaved. Now this head is being shaved. This head is shaved. Why? Because the master chimney sweeper. Then these are chimney sweepers, and there is a master chimney sweeper. Master chimney sweeper is an adult. Then Lankawe to go he can beggars like there are beggars and there are beggar merchants. If I am a beggar merchant, I have several beggars under my custody. Samaharu real beggars are there. There are real beggars who don't have actual money, but sometimes there are people. Now imagine that I am a beggar merchant and then I have like 10 beggars under me. And then I'm putting them into my van or into my lorry. And then they get money. And then at night, I'm again taking them up, collecting them, and I get all the money. And then I give a share for those beggars. Share. Even then, Mama, thug කෙනෙක් වගේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. නිකන් අර මේ කප්පම් ගන්න කෙනෙක් වගේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි otherwise the beggars will not give me money නේ. සල්ලි දෙන්න නැතුව යන්නත් පුළුවන්. හරි ඒක නිසා that is how the society is. Hurry, and here also you have a master chimney sweeper. Now imagine that I am the master. I have little children. I am giving money to the children's families and I buy the children. The father had sold the child to a master chimney sweeper. And then these master chimney sweepers, they are shaving the head of the boys in preparation for work. They are preparing the boys for work. They are making the boys ready, right? So near that was shaven near this part. Second line you have that curd like a lamb's back was shaved near that part, was shaved near that part. Point out the master chimney sweeper, the master chimney sweeper is preparing, the master chimney sweeper is preparing the children for work. Preparing the children for work. Preparation of children for work. For preparing the children for work. Then, so I said, I means the first speaker. So I said, hush Tom, they be silent Tom, they don't shout Tom, don't cry. Hush Tom, never mind it, don't care about it, you never mind it. So when your head's bare means empty. When your head is bare, when you don't have hair in your head, you know the suit cannot spoil your white hair. Suit so when your hair is bald, when you don't have hair in your head, the suit will not spoil your hair. The suit will not harm your hair. Therefore, we have to understand another thing. That is, one chimney sweeper is advising another chimney sweeper. This is the first sweeper, and then this is Tom. And this chimney sweeper is advising Tom, who is another chimney sweeper. And both these children are small children. One small child is advising another small child. And one child is consoling because there is no adult to console them. And then because of that, these people have to console each other. There, we will point out the speaker tries to console Tom. The speaker tries to console, C-O-N-S-O-L-E, tries to console Tom. The speaker tries to console tongue. And also, here we have a dialogue. You have dialogue, you have quotation marks here. This dialogue makes this stanza dramatic. Why? Because we have dialogues. We have people talking to each other. And dialogues make the poem dramatic. Speaker talks with. The other chimney sweeper and tries to pacify his worried mind. Tries to pacify his worried mind. Now, he is worried, and the speaker is trying to pacify him. Right. You know that the suit cannot spoil your hair. Right. Then, Putta, there we can understand that these children, these chimney sweepers, they are robbed from their childhood. Who robbed it? The adults. We robbed those innocent chimney sweepers' life. Okay? There we can see that the writer criticizes us adults. Okay? Because he says that you don't do your duty. As adults, you don't do your duty. That is why these children have to console each other. Because you are not doing your duty. That is what the poet is telling. That is what the poet is mentioning to the public. Yeah. This is a criticism at the public. For robbing childhood of these innocent children. The childhood of these innocent children are robbed. The speaker blames us, blames the adults. Criticism about the public. Criticism about the public. Then in the in the next couple of stanzas, we have the way that Tom Dark is seeing a dream. Dream එකක් ගැන කියන්නේ, which Tom Dark sees. Before that, you have a writing book, right? You have a writing book there. Hi. When we think of your writing book, you will have to imagine that this is your writing book. Okay, so you have to keep a specific book for writing questions. Questions and another one for writing notes. And here I have brought the book of 2023 students, one of my 2023 students. I have told you there are two sections, two parts are there. First one is literature part, second one is language part. So these people, they keep one book for literature part and one book for context, language part, and literature and language. So this is their language part. See, I have told you that you are going to get unseen prose and unseen poetry and proceeding. And when I give them tunes, this is a description of an unseen prose. How do you make unseen prose? Make paragraph, they analyze it, and then here they write answers. Tune is also there, their answer is also here. So these are their answers. This is precis writing. Within precis writing, once you're summarizing, they have to you have to divide your book into 5 columns. 5 columns, and then you have to write the answer. Language part. And here again you have a poem description. Unseen poem. Make an unseen poem. Here this is the poem, and this is how they have written their answers. Correct? And then you have the essay here. Make an essay. The other thing is, when we think of the literature part, they divide this book into 2. In past say they cut it. And this part is for context ones, and this part is for essay type ones. If it is easier for you, you can write them on paper as well. You can write the things. You can buy these sorts of papers. Papers exam papers are available. Or you can take full scraps or cut papers, whatever you like. And you can write the things, give me to correct the things, and you can fire them up. ඔය ඕන විදිහ පුරන්න කරන්න ඕන. හරි? And those who are joining online, you have a tip like this, right? I hope you have given me the correct postal address because I'm going to send them to you next week, next Monday. I will ask them to post it, right? So if you haven't given me the proper postal address, you'll have to do it today, okay, by today itself. If you have a postal number or something, it would be easier. And also send the name of one of your parents, because I don't know if you are going to get letters, but if I write your parents' name, then you would definitely get it. No, it will be easier, right? Send me the name of your parent as well with initials. Right. Take out your writing book, and we are going to write a context. Right? Context question එක ලියන්න. අනිත් එක තමයි I could not tell you how much time you have left. For the literature paper, you are going to get 3 hours. And for the language paper also, you are going to get 3 hours. That means altogether you have a 6-hour paper. And literature part would be in 1 day, and the language part would be in another day. And so you can prepare yourself. And then you have 3 hours for the literature part, and then you have 4 context questions, and you have 4 essay type questions. You can take 15 minutes to write 1 context. 15 minutes to write 1 context. That means to write context you can have 1 hour, and then you can have 30 minutes to write and answer current essay type question, and then 2 plus 1, 3 hours. That is how you have to manage your time. And then within these 15 minutes, you should master the skill of writing at least 1.5 pages. Within 15 minutes, the answer, your context that is okay. You will be able to do that. Usually, you are expected to write 1 or 1.5 pages for context. 1.5 pages for context. And then, for essay type, you are expected to write 2.5 or 3 pages. 2.5, 3 pages, another essay type. Within 30 minutes, you'll have to write like 3 pages. When I was doing my A-levels, I had a really great speed, speed. I was able to write like 4 or 5 pages for 30 minutes. I 30 minutes වලින් මට ලියන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තිබුණා 4 4ක් 5ක් විතර. ඒක මට වාසියක් වුණා. හරි, that became like a benefit, advantage for me. So you also have to improve your speed. Speed එක වැඩි කරගන්න ඕනේ. And also you will have to improve your grammar as well. Grammar issues තියෙනවා නම් උලන්ට ඒකත් you have to improve. And then for language, paper. This part is literature and this part is language. You have essay, you have précis, you have unseen prose, and unseen poem. These are the sections. And for essay, you can take 1 hour. Right? Essay take 1 hour because you are expected to write. These essays are not like your O-level essays. O-level essays are given timely topics. Right? You have to talk about things as you are an advanced level student. Then advanced level students, therefore, you will have to write very analytical essays. So the vicharaatmaka essay එකක් තමයි ලියන්න ඕන. මම කියන්නේ කොහොමද no need to be afraid. I'm just talking about the time allocation. හරි කොහොමද time allocate කරන්නේ කියන්නේ. Then for précis, you can take 10 minutes for MCQ and you can take in order to write the précis, you can take like 30 minutes. Okay, MCQ 10 minutes, précis 30 minutes. So here we have 40 minutes. And then for prose, you can take like 35 minutes for prose, 35 minutes for poem, and 40 minutes for précis and 1 hour to write the essay. And usually it's better to write the essay as the last answer. And basically, you have to allocate your time and then go to the essay. So it will be easier. You can write more. Then අන්තිම දැන් සිංහල වලත් එහෙම ළමද කරන්නේ essay එකට අන්තිමට ලියන්න. ඒ වගේ තමයි. Right. Then so this is the time allocation. If you want to point this out, put the back page එකේ point out කරගත්තත් තමයි. And I will write the marks as well. So for context, you are getting 8 marks. And essay time, you are getting 17 marks. $30 marks for essay, 30 marks for précis, 20 marks for unseen prose, 20 marks for unseen poem. This is how marks are allocated. Time allocation and mark allocation. Okay, then. Right. Now, Gautam, I told you that you are getting 8 marks for context. Now, listen, na? You are getting 8 marks for context, and this is how the marks are given. For identification, identification means from which poem it is taken, who is the writer. Where did you are given 1 mark. Right? If you mention these lines are taken from the poem Chimney written by William Blake. For that sentence, you are getting 1 mark. And then the next one is plot, characterization, themes. When you talk about this, you have to talk about the story here. You have to talk about the characters, and then you have to talk about the themes. Theme. For this, you are getting 3 marks. You have to mention during the industrial era, so many people came to the cities, and because of that, child labor spread. The child labor spread, and in this stanza, we have a chimney sweeper whose mother died at a young age, and his father sold him. You have to talk about the plot, and then you have to talk about the character of the chimney sweeper. His pathetic life. General idea his pathetic life, and then his innocence. He is a small child. Where we can talk about that. And then we have to talk about the theme. Theme is child labor exploitation. That is the theme. And we have to describe about theme. Just mentioning the theme is child labor exploitation. You have to explain. Because you have to write like 1 or 1.5 pages. You have to explain that. And for this, you are getting 3 marks. And then for literary devices, you are getting 1 mark. Again, Aneva similes, metaphors, and then symbolism. Then when we talk about that, you are getting 1 mark. And then for your language, you are getting 3 marks. Right? If you write the thing with perfect grammar, then you are getting 3 marks. And even though this is a literature paper, you get a lot of marks for language as well, for your language, for your grammar, for your vocabulary. Therefore, you will have to improve your grammar and improve your vocabulary as well. You will have to improve that as well. So altogether, 3, 3, 1, 1, 8 marks. And this is how the marks are allocated for question number 1. And context question. Now, Buddha, you have written mark allocation somewhere, and then in that place, write down this one as well. You can organize your answer according to this. Identification 1 mark, plot character themes 3 marks, literary devices 1 mark, language 3 marks. Right. Then to the. Have we done?
Yes,
Yes.
teacher.
Okay. This is how we are going to start our answer. Mama answer to start and then I will give you a small homework that is with a pencil. When you go home with a pencil, you will have to kind of write the important points that you are going to include in your answer. Answer to include with the pencil, write down. So I need to see whether you have understood the important points. Plot, character, theme, the things that you can write. Themes, devices, and fun sweep. That is a fun, and it is a literary device. And then this is how you have to start your answer. Make a pen and when you come the next day, you have to mention it to the pencil. So you can start it like this. These lines are taken from. These lines are taken from. These lines are taken from the poem. These lines are taken from the poem Chimney Sweeper. C capital, S capital. Chimney Sweeper. Written by Chimney Sweeper. Written by world-renowned poet. World-renowned English poet. World-renowned English poet. Loka Prasiddha. The world-renowned English poet William Blake. William Blake. Here the poet discusses about. Here the poet discusses about tragic life. Tragic. Tragic life of a chimney sweeper. Tragic life of a chimney sweeper. So there we have written about the poem, we have written about the poet, and we have written about the situation as well. Situation is what? The tragic life of a chimney sweeper. That will be your first paragraph. In each and every context, you have to write that kind of a paragraph for the first paragraph. First paragraph. Then to the next day, when you come with a pencil, point out important things in the first stanza. The things that you can write there. And then when you come the next day, I will give you the sample answer as well. And sample answer then. Right. So we can finish up for today. And did you understand? Yes. So how about the others? Let me. Was it difficult? Was it difficult? No, right? Writing questions might be a little tricky, but if you understand the things, there would be no problem. So we will stop for today, and I will see you next